Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared.
And I'm Lad.
And very special movies coming out next week, Latimus.
Yes.
So, in light of the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, which basically is a live-action Spider-Verse, we're going to cover the original Spider-Verse movie today, which is so far Lad's and my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, including the Tobey movies, the Andrew movies.
I really like the Andrew Garfield movies. I don't know
which is better, Spider-Verse or that? You have to pick one.
Oh man, Spider-Verse was insane though. Oh, I really love the first.
Here's how to choose. The first one only had one Spider-Man. This one had four. Actually, five.
Six.
Or six. Six, yeah, six.
They.
Come on, man. You know you want to pick my movie as the number
man,
one.
What would I say? I mean, like, I'm a big fan of. I would say I need to think, as we discussed throughout this episode, maybe I can be convinced one way or another. Because honestly, it's a toss between Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Into the Spider-Verse. Because honestly, they were both incredible. So maybe as we talk through the episode and go through some great moments from it, maybe it'll convince me one way or the other.
Now I have this question for you in light of that statement. Which is better, this or Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Oh. I mean, I guess it's better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I still have a good spot for that.
So, do you want to go first and provide your thoughts on the movie, or should I go first?
Why don't you go first?
All right, so going into this movie, I had no expectations for it. I was like, okay, it's an animated Spider-Man movie. And I knew of Miles Morales, but he wasn't like on my radar as he was back then. Right. Boy, was I not prepared for this. Yeah. Not only was it a fantastic origin movie for Ultimate Spider-Man, pretty much, it was the most visually stunning animated movie I have ever seen. Ever. Right.
Yeah.
Ever. Just like that. It looked like a comic book. They have the onomatopoeias on the screen. They have panels, except they did the panels way better than they did in the Eric Bana Hulk movie, which was terrible.
Right.
And they made Miles Morales tolerable because, as we know, before this, most of the all different characters are just really like annoying characters.
Mm-hmm.
This one, in this movie, absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and I just like all the Easter eggs that they put in this. Like, the comic book he's reading is Amazing Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Spider-Man. As like he's going through the exact same experiences as Peter Parker. They covered all the story beats of the Peter Parker origin, but put Miles in there.
Right.
I also like how they established that it's like an alternate world by saying it's the NYP, is the PDNY.
Right. Yeah. That was pretty cool about that.
All right, so Lad, what do you think?
So my history with it was kind of interesting because I had no idea this movie was even coming out. Because this was 2017, 2018 or so.
2018 was when the movie came out.
Okay. 22?
2018 is when the movie came out.
2018, okay, yeah. And I don't know, what were we watching around that? I mean, we were watching Marvel movies together and stuff like that, but it had never really come up in conversation too much.
Yeah. And the only time I got like a preview of what this movie was about was at the end of the first Venom movie. They played a clip for it.
Yeah, that's right. I hadn't seen anything about it. It just all of a sudden, I didn't notice any trailers. I didn't like read about it. And I was a pretty big Spider-Man fan, but I thought it was just gonna be like an animated movies for kid or something like that. And I had passed away from it. And then my family went to go see it, so I just went with them, and all of a sudden it was this insane experience. It was not just for kids; it was actually a very mature storyline in animation, and it was probably one of the best Spider-Man movies ever, with so many different characters and lore. And Miles, it completely blew me away. I had no idea that even existed, and I think a lot of people missed out on it. Like, people didn't. I mean, it still did really well, but a lot of people missed out on it because maybe just didn't expect it to be much.
And it is the first Marvel superhero film to win an Oscar.
Really?
Best animated movie. I agree with that. But let me ask you real quick. When you saw it the first time, was that with me, or was the time with me your second time seeing it?
I think that was my second time seeing it. I think I went to go see it with my family first. Yeah. And I remember when it got that Oscar, it was a really big deal because Disney had been and Pixar have been getting all the Oscars lately. So the fact that another company managed to get an Oscar was incredible. But also that it was
movie.
And a superhero movie, right? Like Into the Spider-Verse, Marvel got the Oscar and stole it away from Disney. That was a really big deal at that time. So
and the mouse's head exploded like a hand grenade.
Yep. And it's been a little, it's been a couple of years, and we're still we know they're working on a few projects for the Spider-Verse. So maybe we're gonna sequel. Yep. So what are we gonna do? And today we're gonna just run through a few great moments from it, what we liked about it. What's
ultimately
what first?
My favorite scene from the movie is where he first puts on his black suit and he jumps off the building, because when he jumps off the building, you notice they established this early in the movie. He sticks to the wall when he's nervous. Yeah. So
right.
And when he jumped off the wall, some glass came with him. So that's communicating that he's overcoming his fear and finally just embracing his role as Spider-Man, which I felt that was like visually like a fantastic way to communicate that transition from Miles Morales to Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah. That was a really, really big deal. And
I love the hey thing. That was fantastic. Yeah. That was so good.
There was a lot of really good moments in this that really set up Miles as his own character. I knew about him from one of the TV shows, but this was obviously a really big deal for Miles Morales fans because we've got a lot of Peter Parker movies, and this really brought, Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales into the, spotlight. And also, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman, Ghost Spider, she also got like a really big role in this as well that I think people want to see more of her.
She was the only one I knew of. And then when Spider-Pig showed up, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Played by John Mulaney.
There was a lot of interesting characters there that I didn't know about all of them.
I love Nick Cage as Noir Spider-Man. That was fantastic.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of really good.
And I love the anime girl. They made her a big-eyed anime girl with the mech. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, that was really good.
And then when they gave him a spider cave that pretty much has like all of my favorite part, all the suits in the background. You can see the PS4 one, the Doctor Strange one. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Right.
It's like a Zack Snyder movie in that you have to look and make sure you catch all the Easter eggs.
I know.
What was your favorite part of the movie, lad?
Favorite part of the movie? I mean, I would have to just say, oh man, just seeing like the new Peter Parker with Miles Morales, or the older, washed up Peter Parker doing Miles Morales. That was really funny to see, like, just the contrast between him and like
Fat Peter.
Yeah.
When I was reading the art book that I recently got in the mail. When I was reading the art book, they talked about how the first Peter Parker in the movie, the blonde-haired one, played by Chris Pine, the reason why they made him so perfect is to make the other one, is to make the actual one look like a loser.
Oh, really?
That's the reasoning.
Oh, yeah. That's actually pretty funny then.
Oh, and you know what's interesting? So apparently, Kate Bishop plays Gwen Stacy.
Yes, that's true. Haley Steinfeld plays Gwen Stacy. She was also the human character in Bumblebee, and so she's a pretty up and coming actress. So
she's a good really one. Cool. She was great in this. I actually enjoyed Gwen Stacy, a Ghost Spider, a lot in this movie.
Yeah, Ghost Spider was really cool. Seeing her.
And I liked how they each got their like comic book origin moment where like showed their, and it's like slightly different in that like Peter Parker's lizard and her Earth. It's like basically the same thing. They're like, okay, let's do this one more time. They all go through the same story beats pretty much. They're even all like running across a hallway.
Right. Yeah. No, they really did an interesting job with it, because also we had like the three main Spider men and women there. And then Noir, Spider-Ham, and Penny Parker, where they worked really well with all the rest of the characters. You know, I really liked the villains in the movie also. Like, I didn't expect them to have a good assortment there. They, Kingpin was also like a newer to Spider-Man movie. Yeah, like they actually really made him like insanely massive.
I'm like, how the hell do you fit anywhere, bro?
Hey, listen. And Goblin was also really good. The Goblin really menacing.
Yeah, I like the Goblin as like a creature instead of just a dude in the suit. I felt that because that is the ultimate Green Goblin, right? He's a creature. So I really I like that a lot more than just a dude, basically a dude in a rubber suit.
Right. No, that was a good look, and obviously having the female Otto Octavius was a good plot twist during the film.
Yeah, I think my favorite villain was by design. In other words, the aesthetic. I like Scorpion. That was so cool.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool character as well there.
Let's see.
But I was really hyped at the very end, seeing the Spider-Man 2099, the little teaser they had.
They did the pointing.
Yeah, and they did the pointing thing.
It would be hilarious if in No Way Home the three Spider-Men just start pointing at each other.
Oh boy,
that would be fantastic.
They'll probably do it because people are really into that now.
It's an iconic meme. You can't not do that.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what do you think? Let me see. Now, if you could do a sequel to this movie, in other words, if they came up to you and said, "Lad, you can create the Spider-Verse sequel," what would you make the story?
Oh man, it'd be kind of tough.
Personally, first I would bring in the Avengers, or at least allude that they exist. Allude that you don't have to actually have them show up. Just allude that they exist to hint that he's in the larger universe.
Okay.
And then that would just be random. Just bring in all the ultimate characters. Then what I would do, I would bring in Ben Reilly. In other words, I would do kind of like Spider-Verse, except I would have different Spider people, except for maybe Gwen, because she and him had like a good chemistry together. And then I would bring in, who was that character in the Spider-Verse comic that was hunting down and killing Spider-Man?
Morlun, I think.
Morlun, yeah. I'd bring in Morlun.
Yeah, and the Inheritors.
Because, it's kind of at the end, the portal opens, and then they say, Miles, we need your help with something.
Yeah.
It'll be hilarious as if there's a portal in like No Way Home, because how like in the trailer they have those cracks, and one of them is the animated world.
Yes, that'd be so cool.
That'd be so good. And then I think it'd be cool if it ends with Secret Wars. He wakes up in the MCU.
They could do it. I mean, I mean, there's a lot of really good potential for these movies. I kind of want to see, like, I would really love just to have a Miles movie, but obviously having everyone together is really popular and really hyped. So,
and if it's called Spider-Verse, you kind of have to have the other Spider people.
Yeah. But there's a lot of potential for this series. I mean, with just the first movie, they've already done like a really great job with it. Yeah, I think a lot of people's favorite Spider-Man is Miles now.
He's kind of getting there to mine. I still like Peter. But I would honestly, if I were to do a solo Miles movie, I would do like a variation of the black suit.
That'd be a good idea.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but the ultimate Venom is not an alien. It's just a science experiment.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could. So that's what I would do as the next storyline.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I would have more like interaction between him and Genki, because what the book shows, Genki was supposed to play a larger role in the movie. Like he was supposed to be with him throughout the entire movie, but they cut that out.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be really exciting. Just whatever they do with the series to just,
Yeah, because Miles needs his guy in the chair.
Yeah, I wonder how they will, portray him differently compared to the Ned we see.
Well, Ned is not Genki, right?
Well, yeah, they're not the same characters, but they kind of took some character traits from Ned Leeds, from Genki, like kind of they took some of his character traits. So
that's true. Yeah, because I definitely got some Genki vibes from Ned. They could honestly write him as they did in the Spider-Verse, in the Miles Morales game, because he's a main character in that game. He helps he helps Miles make his awesome black. By the way, the black and red suit is my favorite Spider-Man suit of all time. Practically, it's that, and my favorite is the PS4.
Yeah, that's really good
because I like the white accents, but I love the black and red.
Right.
It's PS4, Miles, Iron Spider. Followed closely, probably by the new suit in No Way Home. The sort of the one that looks like the Iron Spider suit is the one he's wearing at the end of the trailer.
Oh, right.
Love that. What's your favorite Spider-Man suit? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
I think it's still the Spider Armor Mark III. It's the one.
You mean the one from the comic I got you?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
from Ends of the Earth.
Dope.
Yeah. You'd have to pull it up on the computer, but yeah, the Spider Armor Mark III is probably one of my favorite costumes that they have. That was like the really cool thing about the PlayStation game, is that they have so many costumes you can.
Yeah, you can play pretty much all of them. Hang on, I'll share the screen. I pulled up the Spider Armor. I mean, this looks freaking dope.
Yeah, the Spider. Yeah. That is such a good armor. I like the one over there in the second from the left, top left is that's the one right when you first see it in the comic book. It is such an interesting suit, and it has ways to take down all the Sinister Six built into it, because this is when Peter wanted to get really serious with what he's doing. So he literally has like anti-Sinister Six tactics in it.
And they have a Funko Pop.
So it's good.
Apparently it's a Mark IV. Let's see what this is. Oh, that's what the Mark IV is? His glowing spider suit?
Yeah, that's the one when they started the Spider-Man like international run, like in 2015. He got like a new suit, the spider armor. It looks like his regular suit, but it's armored up.
I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's because they kind of brought in a lot of those younger heroes, and they made Miles like Spider-Man, and then Peter Parker was the head of Parker Industries,
so he
became global.
So he became a knockoff Tony Stark, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. He would what would he do? He would be as Peter Parker going around selling his products, and then he would have Spider-Man as his protector. That's what his why Spider-Man was following him around. It was supposed to be Spider-Man was protecting him.
That's not bad. At least he has a reason why Spider-Man seems to show up wherever he is.
Right, yeah. It was an interesting concept.
It was a good concept, but it was too much like Iron Man.
Yeah.
And the only difference is that everyone knows Tony Stark is Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when you compare the glowing spider suit to the Mark III, there really is no competition on which one actually looks cool. Because first off, the other one's unique. This one just looks like his regular spider suit, except he painted the thing blue.
Yeah. No,
that's it.
I agree.
What do you think is your least favorite spider suit?
Oh man, that'd be kind of tough. The bombastic bag man is pretty bad suit, and in a funny way.
I know what you're talking about. Is that the one where like he has the where's the black suit storyline of Rita's studying it? So it's like I love how Johnny lends him like a really baggy outfit and then a bag on his head.
Yeah, he has a kick me sign on the back of him. Yeah,
that's so good. I love that. That's actually not a bad. I think they have that in the PS4 suit.
They probably do. Yeah. If anyone's played it, the Spider-Man Unlimited game on mobile phones back like in 2016 or so, that game was incredible. That got me into Spider-Man big time because they had like 200 plus Spider-Man costumes and characters and Venom variants and all.
Is that a free roam game?
And no, it was a endless runner, like Temple Run.
Oh, okay.
Collect, Spider-Man suits, and it was actually really good.
Because I was about to say, it seems now Spider-Man games pretty much have to be free roam.
Right? Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
The one I do really want to play is Shattered Dimensions, which is pretty much Spider-Verse. I really want to. I'm gonna see if I can find that on Amazon for cheap and play it out because I also like how they do the Spider-Verse, except they actually use Spider-Man 2099, who I think is in my top 5 for amazing costume. The 2099 suit is so cool.
Yeah, 2099 is a really cool costume. He's kind of like an edgy version of Peter Parker. You know, he's from the future and everything.
But does he kill people?
I think he kills people.
Oh, so he really is an edgy version of Spider. So he's Ben Affleck Spider-Man.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure he just does whatever he has to. He's not really a good moral compass.
Hey, there you go. I'm looking it up right now. Does 2099 Spider-Man kill? And then we'll get back to the movie.
Let's see.
Miguel O'Hara.
Yep.
Can't find it right now, but oh wait, hang on. Is he? Wait,
we may have a league here.
We may have a league here.
Let's see.
He doesn't have a no-kill rule. Yeah, he doesn't have a no-kill rule.
Yeah, I think it's just Peter that has like a big thing like that.
Peter and Miles, yeah. All right, so back to the movie. I think the number one thing that sets this movie apart from all other animated movies is the fact that it's 3D animation, because previously any Spider-Man animation was 2D. And then the way they did this, particularly like the parts where like the Spider-Verse started to leak in and then everything gets like de-res and everything, I was just like, wow.
Right. That was really incredible. The visual, like not even like you could even like forget about the whole plot and the characters and the storylines, but just like what you visually saw on the screen, like the art style was incredible. You know, like you said, 3D animation, but and models, but you know, like had the dots like the comic book style, and the words were on the screen sometimes when he was thinking in his head. Like it was insane.
Like meanwhile.
Right. You know, and the final fight, obviously, against Kingpin was insane with like all like the, it just was the colors everywhere from like the machine activating. It was like insane. That was an insane moment.
I also liked it, the small detail when each of the spider people went back through the portal, it would it would flash with their color. Like when Noir went through, it was black and white.
Yeah.
I liked where Spider-Ham gives him the mallet to remember him by. I'm like, God, that's so Spider-Ham.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty funny character, isn't he?
That reminds me of Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, which are basically a rule in the multiverse where the Justice League are animals. And Captain Carrot is just Superman that's a bunny.
No, it is actually kind of funny. Yeah, they've done all kind of crazy comics.
But I also like, because this was their first introduction to the multiverse, as far as I know.
Yeah, honestly, like in terms of movies, I mean, I can't think of other movies that have actually delved into this alternate Earth idea, you know?
And, you know, a few live action movies did kind of. Speaking of which, quick thing I want to announce real quick is that DC, I know this is super off topic, but I just thought of this and I wanted to tell you. DC is rumored, but strongly suggested that they're making a Crisis on Infinite Earth animated movie series that combines all of their animated movie universes. The DCAU, DCAMU, all the DC animated movies are going to be part of this.
So this is the rumor going around right now.
This is a rumor. It's a strong rumor. In fact, I'll look it up.
Okay.
Crisis on Infinite Earths animated. Because I'm like, wait,
CW?
they just...
You want CW, right?
No.
Yes.
Animated trilogy rumor. It's a trilogy rumored. Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
Because they did Crisis on Two Earths, but they never ever did Infinite Earths. Like that scale.
Yeah, that's kind of actually crazy. So they haven't done.
Because you'd have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, lad.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Now I think about it, they have never adapted Crisis on Infinite Earths in the animated films or anything before, have they?
No, they tried. They sort of did in Crisis on Two Earths, but a much smaller scale. It was not like the Anti-Mod or anything like that. They do this. We could have Batman from Batman the Animated Series teaming up with Brave and the Bold, the DC AMU Batman.
Yes.
Bro, this would be so cool. All right, so back to Spider-Verse. So now, remind me, I know I asked you this in like the first episode you were ever on, but is the Spider-Verse the same thing as the multiverse, except just spider characters?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the multiverse, but referring to variations of Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that because I'm like, what's the difference? They seem exactly the same. It's just alternate Earths.
Right. So I can have my lecture series, everyone. If you look here on the board, over this way, the multiverse. It's just like, you know, the multiverse is like the alternate Earths and all that, and then it's supposed to be like the Spider-Man of all the different Earths, and because, you know, there's so many variations of Spider-Man, you can do that. And so it's just, instead of saying like, you know, a multiverse of Spider-Man character, it's just Spider-Verse is like a really cool term, you know. So
basically all it is the Marvel multiverse, just all the Spider-Man characters.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, there is no, like, it's not like another universe or anything like that. It's just like it's just referring to the multiverse of Spider-Man characters.
You know, it'd be cool is if they brought in the Spider-Verse movie the Marvel Zombie Spider-Man.
That would be really cool.
Not the one from What If, the one from the comic, the one that actually ate Aunt May.
Yes. Oh, no, that would not be cool.
That'd be hilarious. By the way, I liked Aunt May in this movie. She was funny.
Oh yeah.
How she knew there was a spider cave. Yes, I'm calling it that. A spider cave beneath her house, and she's like totally cool. She's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, I
love where Peter B. Parker's like, oh yeah, I have that. I have a shed at home. It's like it's where I keep all my toys, and then he immediately is like, oh come on! As soon as the thing like opens up, it's this big elevator.
Yeah, I like how this movie really they assumed the audience already knew what Spider-Man was. Like, Spider-Man's kind of like a cultural icon, right? So it didn't need to go in and explain too much about his backstory exactly. It's like, you know, the deal. Like, in movie started off, Spider-Man, I've been a hero, I've done this, I've done that, I've done the dancing and everything like that. But
they made a joke about that too. I love that. And then even Chris Pine is like, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. But they really developed Miles into his own character. They made him feel unique, even though there was, like, you know, the 6 other Spider-Man. You know, there was lots of different characters.
Exactly, and that's like one of my big complaints with Miles in the comics is that he just seems like another Spider-Man. They don't do enough to separate him from Peter. And they did that in this movie. They made him his own character, even though he happens to be also called Spider-Man.
Right.
I was like, oh, they finally did it.
Yeah. No, it really gave him his own, you know, uniqueness there. That after whenever Tom Holland's done doing his Spider-Man stuff, I think we're like basically guaranteed to have a Miles Morales live action movie.
Yeah. I think he even said is that if I don't do it, they should do Miles.
Yeah, it would make so much sense. It'd be so awesome to see him, and it'd be a really great change of pace from just doing, you know, a 4th version of Peter Parker in live action, especially if No Way Home actually brings back the old actors, which they most likely will. You know, it'll just be like, well, we have, you know, kind of like a similar story for so many years, 20 years now. It'd be good to have a fresh face around.
Now, can you imagine if the post-credit scene for No Way Home teases Miles Morales?
Well, that'd be really crazy.
Or wait, what if he actually shows up at the last battle and you have 4 Spider-Men? And you're muted, lad. But yeah, it would be so cool if we had 4 Spider-Men. Yeah, so as Lad repairs his audio, so I don't know, because here's where I'm thinking on this. Because I think I hear you now. Marvel seems to be keeping this Spider-Man thing on the low and low. What if it's not to hide the other 2, but to hide Miles, and they're setting him up for his own movies?
That's possible.
Because the rumor's been that whenever Sony is done with Peter Parker being with Marvel, they're gonna take him back, and then Marvel's gonna do Miles movies, or it's the other way around, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's the other way around. But yeah, that's what Sony can do. They can make their own Spider-Man movies right there with Miles, and then give Tom Holland, Peter Parker to Marvel, and just say, just do whatever you want there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about. I thought it was pretty cool how they were able to also juggle a lot of different characters, and they didn't really have to explain that much about their backstory. That's what was so great about these short, like, okay, let's do this one more time moments, because it was just, in a nutshell, here's who these characters are. That's all you have to know about them. Let's continue on with the story.
Yeah.
Because you know how people criticize Zack Snyder's Justice League because he threw too many characters in. And let me put it this way. I could see people complaining they should have given each Spider-Man their own movie before they did a Spider-Verse movie. That sucks. This is not how the MCU does it.
Yeah.
That's my impression of all the comic book fans that annoy me and apparently think that you have to do complete individual movies before you do a team-up movie.
Yeah.
Which you don't, but that's besides the point. But do you agree with me, lad, that this movie really succeeded in having like a large cast, but not making it overwhelming?
Yeah, I think it did a good job with that. Definitely. It definitely, made it possible.
Now, who's your favorite side character?
Ooh.
Mine is the father when he drops him off at school and going, "I love you, son. You got to say it back. You got to say it back." Yeah. Even beeps the little horn.
Pretty funny moment.
That was so great. It was either him or the Prowler. I like the uncle reveal being the Prowler because I did not know that beforehand because I didn't know anything about Miles. So I'm like, oh, that's an interesting take on the whole uncle thing.
Right. Yeah, that can't. I did not see that coming. So that was an interesting take.
Yeah, once again, who's your favorite side character?
I don't know. Maybe Aunt May. Aunt May was a pretty good side character.
Aunt May was. Oh, she goes, I made your web shooters myself. I'm like, Aunt May is way too prepared in this Earth.
Yeah.
This is the Batman Aunt May. She has prep time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Aunt May.
So okay. So let's see what else. All right. So. In terms of continuing on, so which would you let me ask you this question as we wrap up. Which would you prefer, Miles being the MCU Spider-Man or Peter being the MCU Spider-Man? Assuming we can only have one.
Oh, man. Oh, that's kind of tough to say.
In other words, which one do you love more? Which one do you love more?
I mean, Tom Holland's done a really good job of starting to win me over as Spider-Man. That I need to see where his story continues first. So for live action, I need to have Tom Holland still. I need to see where his story goes. But I really want to see Miles as soon as possible. And maybe they can even overlap them. You could have two different Spider-Men.
Here's the thing. We know Miles exists in this universe because guess who showed up in Homecoming?
Yep. Prowler.
He said, I have an uncle I have a nephew in this town. So I'm like, oh. And even in a deleted scene, he calls Miles.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, that's interesting. So they could just very well just have him. This would be more likely that he would show up in No Way Home because they don't have to move him from another Earth. He's already there.
Right. No, you're right.
All right. So in light of that, unless you have any closing thoughts. Oh, yeah. So what do you think the main plot of the next movie is going to be?
Ooh. I mean, it definitely seems like something's going on. Like there actually might have some, villains across the multiverse. Like it may.
Lost audio, lad. Lost audio. But anyway, so what I think will happen is that it'll be a multiversal Sinister Six thing, and that's what Miguel was managing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. It sounds bad. So anyway, so what were you saying before you lost audio?
I was just saying, like, probably the Inheritors. I'm going for the Inheritors.
Who are the Inheritors again?
There are basically, they hunt spiders across the multiverse. They're like a family, and they hunt spiders, like Spider-Man and women, a character, or Ham, I guess also. They hunt them. So they're like vampires, kind of.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And I'd love to see. I want to see more Marvel animated movies, by the way, in this animation style. Please do more like this.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, there's no reason we can't have more animated Marvel movies. I mean, honestly,
like that. Because look this way,
yeah,
this is how Marvel could conceivably compete with DC in the animated department is with animation like that and writing like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this discussion of by the way, real quick before we wrap up. Now, lad, where does this rank among the Spider-Man movies to you? You said we could wait until after this episode. Come over to the light side, lad.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 is... Amazing Spider-Man 1 is still really great.
This is still my favorite Spider-Man movie. This is coming from someone that's a diehard Peter Parker fan. Actually, it's good for a Peter Parker movie, too, when you think about it.
Yeah. Man, this movie was so good.
Come on, lad.
I don't know.
This
I really
movie's
love
great.
Amazing Spider-Man 1 is insane. Amazing Spider-Man 1 is so good. I think I still have to put it higher.
I will give you that. I did like he builds his own web shooters. All right. Apparently, if the leak scenes that everyone says is fake, that could be real are true. Andrew Garfield's apparently gonna say to Tom Holland, "So you have web blood?"
Yeah.
I totally think all those things are real, and they're just lying to because they're under an NDA.
Yep.
Anyway, now in light of all that, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our discussion of my favorite Spider-Man movie, Lads Just Being Lad. Next week, we will be continuing our Spider-Man discussion, if this does really well, with a discussion of hopefully Far From Home. Or, I'm sorry, No Way Home. I keep getting these home movies mixed up. Please move. At least after this one, they're going to move on to a new trilogy.
Yeah.
Watch it called School From Home. I'll be like, oh, come on, guys.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, see you guys next week when hopefully we'll be talking about I forgot the name of the title again. All right, No Way Home, I think, and and hopefully we'll be talking about the 3 Spider-Man. Anyway, Lad, always a pleasure, and stay heroic, everyone. Bye bye.
See ya.